So call it to order, Personnel Subcommittee, February 9th. The first item we have on the agenda is the Board of Assessment Appeals alternates. And as we discussed last meeting, and since then, we had 3 candidates that we all agreed were good to go. We had a 4th candidate we were hoping to interview. The 4th candidate did not appear. So we're going to push these guys forward. We've already asked them to go to training, I believe. And anybody have anything they want to add on that?
Nope.
Okay. So
but they've already been contacted.
Tom's shaking his head. That's a yes.
Okay. Just clarifying.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Jennifer from the assessor's office had asked me because she needed the names relatively quickly because the meeting's
right for the training. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they have the training. They're allowed to have that on the 13th, which is kind of weird. Anyway, I'm trying to find the motion here. Okay. Move effective February 9th, 2023 to endorse the appointment of Sherry Landerman, D, and Kenneth Katz, U, as alternate members of the Board of Assessment Appeals with terms expiring December 4th, 2023. Further move to endorse the appointment of Shannon Shinsky as an alternate member to the Board of Assessment Appeals with terms expiring December 1st, 2025. Further move to forward appointments to the full Board of Selectmen for review and consideration.
Move that.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that one's done. So now we have the items for the community for care. And so in looking at that, I see that we don't even have enough people to fill the openings, right? Do you want to give some background on the interview or, what the reach out that we did and everything, Tom or Maria?
Sure. So we did end up reaching out to the candidates and asking them to submit the written responses that you were interested in having. We had 4 candidates get back to us. There's actually 5 slots open. So my recommendation would be that, if you feel that the individuals that submitted responses have a skill set that would be a good match for the committee, that you move forward to interview all of the candidates.
Okay. Yeah. I was concerned because based on the breakdown of what we need, we don't have the, right party affiliations to fill all the spots. So I would be interested in interviewing them. But I was wondering what we're going to do to get the additional people to apply.
So that's on us. We've got to decide how we want to get the word out there, but.
Okay. Or do we reach back out to these people just to make sure that they're, Tom, the questionnaire, I don't know how many days people had to fill that out.
One week.
Okay. Do we want to maybe send an email back out to them and say, are they still interested? See if they want to submit that so we can interview them, because there's no Democrats in the list, and it says that we have an opening for a D.
Right, but we don't have minority party rep issues as we have enough Ds on the committee today already, right, Maria?
I believe we still have, we only have 2 members at the moment. I believe it's 1 D and 1 R. And there's a total of 7 slots. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just reading what Tom wrote on the bottom. It says we need 1 D, 2 Rs and 2 D/R/U.
Correct.
Correct, right. And we don't have right at this moment enough candidates to fill all the slots. So if we still had a vacancy and needed to, specifically recruit somebody from, a particular party to ensure minority party representation, we could do that.
Yeah, my point is we could put 2 Republicans on and then go try to recruit a Democrat, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So there's one R in the list and the other 3 are U. So what I was saying is, should we send out a notice to the people on this list to ask them if they're still interested in the parties that we need, so that they might submit the questionnaire and get an interview?
Yeah, and I would suggest we also talk to our nominating chairs for the parties and see if we can help source that way.
Okay, because we do have there are like 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Ds on here that didn't respond. So if they are still interested, maybe we give them a little extra time.
I mean, Wendy, I can say from a nominating standpoint for Dems that we are going to be reaching out kind of specifically to cast a net to see, who is interested. So we could, keep that in mind if there are people that come up through the town committee that might be interested or be a good fit for Community for Care. So that's something we're kind of actively working on through the town committee, so we could feed candidates through that way as well.
Okay. So I guess the question I'm still asking is, what about the 6 people that are on the list that didn't get the questionnaire in on time? Do we ask them to, if they're still interested, and to submit the responses?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what I was hoping to do. Because there were some of these people, the qualifications or the positions look interesting. So we're all in favor of moving forward the 4 people today to go to an interview. Okay. So do we do a motion for that, Maria?
No,
okay.
That's necessary. We'll just move to schedule. I know that the morning, I think of February 22nd was shaping up for most folks. Sean, are you still okay with us proceeding with interviews?
Yeah, basically I can't do any of the times. So you guys are going to proceed without me.
Okay. Well, okay. Thank you. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get those scheduled.
Yeah, I trust these guys. It's whatever works.
Okay. So then the last item that I wanted to get on the agenda, just so we could start talking about it, was the employee survey request that is on our goals, and we've all discussed and how to proceed. So Maria, I had reached out to Melissa. She did not find anybody to date in your community, town managers and deputies who have done one of these. I think, did I send to you guys last night? I had reached out to CCM when Kevin Maloney came around, trying to see what information like Maria needed or I needed, and I had mentioned an employee survey. So he had sent me some samples, none from Connecticut, but there's different samples. To me, it looks like we may need to work with a consultant. I guess you always have to for this type of work, but there's different levels of scope, which, we haven't really talked about. I know Maria is interested and concerned about, how do we keep people happy and retain them during the tight markets that we're in. We were looking to give a voice to everybody in the town employment. So I just wanted to kind of open that up for how, what are our next steps? I mean, I have a few things, but I wanted to ask Maria or Tom to weigh in on what they see happening with this item. Even though we haven't approved it yet in the budget. So that's another thing. But the other question is, do we have any ballpark ideas, or is that something we just put in there, as a placeholder?
Sure. So we have a CNR request prepared for you all, since this was an item you identified as part of your goals. We have a ballpark estimate that we've provided. We did reach out to 7 municipal or public sector HR local government firms to just get some general idea of what costs would be. And as you indicated, Melissa did not get any responses back from those individuals. We had also reached out to our colleagues. The one community that had done a survey in recent years did that in-house with their HR staff. And so, but typically if it's approved through the CNR and budget process, we would, issue an RFQ for services and see who's out there to do the work.
Okay. Do you have any questions, comments? Because I just had a couple more things.
Well, I guess my comment is I'd be curious if we're going to be using an outside consultant, which I think is the way to go to try to, because we want the survey to be, objective. And I think bringing in a third party to do that instead of running it in-house lends, it creates probably a more objective process. And so I would kind of be looking to the consultant to give us some guidelines on what they've done and what's been effective in the past. And kind of give us some options to choose from based on their experience. So
Mm-hmm.
I would like, I think, if we go out for an RFQ or something, then, we can certainly have an opportunity, I think, to talk to the consultant right before we enter into the engagement about what the scope would be and what their suggestions are.
Yeah, that sounds like the right path. Sean, did you have something to say?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I worry in the capital environment we're going to be in the budget that I don't know where this item is going to rank. I think we'll have to talk about that, but I think we still need to proceed, but I worry whether we're going to be able to prioritize it this year or we're going to have to wait.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, we did make it a priority of our goal this year for this term. So
agreed, but we've never had budgetary pressure like we've had this year. So we're going to have to balance that. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. It's going to be a hard discussion when we get into the capital, especially if it's a big number.
Yeah. Maria, what is we have a projected number right now.
We did a ballpark estimate of about $20,000.
Okay, that's less than I thought.
All right. I was thinking about 50.
It really is.
Yeah, I thought it'd be 50 to 100. Yeah, because these are not cheap usually.
Yeah, again, it really could be. I mean, I would suspect with the 20, we'll probably have to do what we would consider more of our full and part-time regular employees in order to, probably touch everybody. I think you're right, Sean. It would be much, much more expensive. But again, unfortunately, we didn't get any, at least initial sort of ballpark estimates from any of the firms that we had reached out to.
Yeah. Do we include? Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I was going to say our seasonal and temporary staff, those numbers depending on the time of the year, can swell to as much as almost 500 people versus our full-time equivalent. So that's full and part-time. It's about the equivalent of about 180 full-time bodies. So, if we were to do sort of the more year-round people, probably looking at about 250 or so.
Yeah, and then do we include the police department? Do we not? Right, because we want the officers' feedback, but they have a very different job than the majority of our other, folks in town hall. So I think that's the stuff we need to talk about with the consultant.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the police too, because we're doing that work study. We don't know what the results are from that, and that could cover some of the ground, right? Like have some overlap potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's important. Again, I see the value in it. I'm just preemptively assuming it's going to be a challenge for us to fit this in with our capital needs, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, because we don't know what they all are yet. So, a couple questions I had too. Once we move forward, like I'm sure Maria, like Mike Harrington would weigh in because of the the union impact and how do you do a questionnaire? I think you would actually raise that.
Can we survey union employees?
Pardon me?
Maria, can we survey union employees? Do we have to get like agreement from the bargaining unit to do that?
No, I think we could. What would really, I think, be more likely to occur is, if we wanted to, bargain any changes after, we wanted to implement any changes related to the survey. And I think probably just to implement the survey, we would not necessarily need approval.
All right, because we're not going to get individual employee data. We're not going to report results on
individual. Right, it'd be like aggregate data, right?
Yeah. Okay. I just want, Sorry, Wendy.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to mention that would be another step in here if we needed Mike. And the other thing that I was going to do is I know, so Capital Region Council of Governments, Matt Hart, they're using a consultant for some strategic planning that they're other leaders had asked to have I don't know the terminology, but their list of approved vendors to deal with for sort of strategic things. So I was gonna reach out to him and see if that's something that they would engage into in case that there's somebody that does this or has done this. And I did send out some samples. And if you want to look through those, some of them were just 12 questions. There was the one, I think it was from Columbia, Missouri, that really ran the gamut all the way, from employee satisfaction to your leaders to your work thing, and it was done before the pandemic. So that seems like that's another level of how, more people are working from home and how do they, if that's something that can be accommodated. But I thought that one was of all the ones is the most comprehensive, although it was a little bit old. So I just wanted to start talking about this since it is going to come up on our budget, and something, if we're going to move forward with it, we should start thinking about and talking about. So, okay. So that's that. And then the approval of the minutes, if anybody had any comments on those changes. No. Okay. So Marie, anything else you want to add here? Okay. All right. So we got that done. So I ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.